That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper. It's time to get on your feet for a 3P podcast. Listen, playoff excitement is in the air. We had franchise record performances someone might know about. We've also had almost NBA tied comeback. We've had a black hole sun. And the best part is we got Nat in the house. Nat, welcome in. Let's do this. How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great, up 23 right now on your you guys just hit 43 points though, and it's
thank you.
5 minutes and 25 seconds left in the third. So
I appreciate rubbing that salt in the wound. I wasn't gonna say anything, but you were on here last week talking about Hero's ass, and then bam, he kind of showed you what it tastes like when you're messing with the Hero. All right, Jones, I know you feeling good tonight. Welcome into the house, my friend. How we? I don't even know. I need to ask how you feeling, but welcome in, friend.
It's New York, baby. It's New York. Mixtape. That's all I gotta say. Mixtape.
Knicks is on and popping. All right, well, look, we got a pack-filled show tonight. Do us a solid. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe, hit the like, get a comment in. We'd like to hear from you as well. We're going to go over all of the things that was last week and what is going forward. Let's talk about the playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me?
Well, we're going to start with one that is already over. Let's say goodbye to the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant is on the fishing boat, getting ready to throw the cast out because they're gone fishing. Timberwolves sweep the Suns 4-0 last game. Timberwolves won 122 to 116. Let's talk about this series and what unfolded. And I guess one of the best first rounds and the best playoffs ever, according to Nat. What do you say about this game or series? My bad.
These matchups are still fantastic. Okay. I did not expect Phoenix to get swept. I actually had Phoenix winning this series because I had thought that the offense would have carried them through and they would have made decent stops, and they also had a good record versus Minnesota in the regular season. So I thought that they understood their matchups. But I just think that the writing was on the wall for Phoenix for a long time ago. I don't think Frank Vogel has coached one game and he's been there a whole season. I can't pick one game he's actually coached. And I didn't see it this time around either. KD was turned into a spot-up shooter. That was just weird. He is not a spot-up shooter. You do not put him in the corner like he's JJ Redick. And that was just weird. You completely took away what makes him so elite and what makes him a top 15 player of all time. So I think that they have a lot of things that they need to look at and really establish what the problem is. They have no wiggle room. They're going to have to come back with those same three guys. But I think that maybe a different coach, will help them out and be able to at least not get swept. But it was just a bad series from top to bottom. Nurkic was the only big for Phoenix that really did anything. They barely played Eubanks, which was weird, especially the last game. They didn't play Bol. They didn't play like their guys off the bench to try to get something going. It was just a very weird series. And Devin Booker, he was just terrible, minus the last game, and then KD was a spot-up shooter. So, and then Bradley Beal really couldn't do anything. It just was a weird series altogether. So I think that they deserve to get swept, to be honest with you. And congratulations to Minnesota. Fantastic basketball played. I know everyone's singing the praises. And I'm going to go to Jones. I know you got next, brother. But I know everyone's singing the praises of Ant. You guys are going to respect Karl Anthony Towns. This does not happen without Karl Anthony Towns. You guys have got to stop talking trash about Karl Anthony Towns. His talent is what makes them be able to do what they do. He's become a better defender. Offensively, he's fantastic. He's one of the best big men scorers of all time. Look at the numbers. All right, it's there. But shout out to Minnesota. But Karl Anthony Towns, that's my guy.
Put some respect on his name, she said. And I think it's an astute point because I think I saw in that last game Kevin Durant start to go to the basket a little bit more, but it was almost like in my head saying what you were saying exactly, like too little, too late. You're not the spot up guy. You should be attacking the quote unquote LeBron, if you will, of the team. And unfortunately just did not, rise, or like you said, maybe it was the coaching style. Not quite sure. Jones, what you think about this one?
I agree with what Nas said. This was a series that I did not expect to be a sweep. I actually had Timberwolves in 7. I didn't have a lot of confidence in the Suns really going far in the playoffs this year because of what we saw during the regular season. Not a lot of chemistry between the three because they didn't actually play a lot of injuries back and forth, and they were top heavy as hell, to use the words of LeBron when he was with Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have no bench, and like Nat said, Nurk is their only big guy. So they had a lot of issues and a lot of holes that teams could attack, and I think the Timberwolves did a good job of taking advantage of that. And like you said, Towns deserves a lot of credit. He stepped up in a lot of ways that a lot of people like you expect him to do. For me, I think my thing with Cat is not his talent. I know he's talented as hell. It's stay on the court. He's always in foul trouble. I think that's usually what their problem is, which helps having Rudy there because him being the defensive guy that he is. But this series, he was a lot better in foul trouble. Not great, but better. And then Ant is obviously he's ready to take over the league, and he showed it going up against one of his favorite players in KD. He wasn't scared of the moment. So when you see a guy like that, a young guy like that with the confidence, it just excites you as a basketball fan. So I'm excited to see what this young guy is going to do going forward.
Gonna hear some Rudy chants going on for Minnesota for sure. All right. Well, speaking of holes, let's get to the next series that's going on right now. Boston leading the series 2-1. Game 3, Celtics 104-84. I'm speaking slowly for a reason because right now it's 72-47. Damn. At least
5 to 50. You guys have cracked 50 points.
Listen, when you're in a heavyweight fight and you're overmatched, at least Miami got that one nut punch in and got that one game in. So take that, Nat. But I'm gonna let you go last so you can close this. What you think so far of this series, Jones? What you think, my friend?
Honestly, what expected? Honestly, like I'm not shocked by any of this. I expected Miami to get at least one game, even without Jimmy, just because you got to respect Eric Spoelstra and that culture. They're not a team that's going to give up, but unfortunately they're just way too overmatched with Boston. Boston is a complete team from top to bottom, so there was no way that they would win this series. But I am happy to see that Miami did get at least one. And if I'm being honest, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's going to be a cruise. The next series for the Boston is going to be cruise again, because whoever's coming out of the next round is not going to be much of a threat for Boston either. So
cruising.
Boston got to cruise. They're going to cruise, I think.
They cruising down the East Coast, A1A, Beachfront Avenue. Nat, let's talk about this series. So go ahead, get it over with.
Well, number one, we have to acknowledge that KP is out for the rest of the game. He did suffer like a strained calf or a rolled ankle. So they don't think it's an Achilles or anything, but I'm going to monitor that and have something to say about it next week.
Brian, we'll see you next week, so take your notes.
Yes, absolutely. This is a series that Boston should win. I actually did have them winning in 5. I did give them one game because Miami's a team, when they get hot from 3 and shots are falling, they can have a good night. And it's just what it is, and that's okay. And Eric Spoelstra, I respect Eric Spoelstra. You know, I still think he's the best coach in the Eastern Conference. You know, probably he might be the best coach in the league. You know, but I just expect them to get one, and they did. You know, right now they're down 24.79 to 55. You know, in the third with a minute 19 left, they might crack 80 points tonight.
I already said the score, so that's just rubbing it in. But go ahead.
I'm not. They might crack 80. Jesus, it's like a 1984 game. They might crack 80. But this is the thing. What I wanted to see from Boston in this series is just how they come out and how they come out swinging. You know, for 3 games out of 4, they've been swinging. The last game, the second game that they lost, KP had 6 points. That just has not happened. And Boston missed a lot of defensive coverages, which is why I really think they lost that game. They just weren't closing the gap, and they deserved to lose, actually. When I realized they weren't defending, I said, please lose. You deserve it. You know, you need to know how to play defense. Get up on your guy. How do you not get up on a 3-point shooter? It's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. But they finally got it together these last 2 games. This is going to go out the way it should. 5, get it over with, and, you know, move on.
That's all I have to say right now. But yeah, I mean, again, we talked about it prior. I was expecting to sweep. I mean, no Jimmy Butler. You know, I understand what you're saying about the hot win 3, but you know, at the same time, we still didn't have Jimmy Butler. So, and you know, again, we've talked about this a few times. I seen Bam even tonight when he got aggressive. He scored, but he just. I just want to say, you soft bitch. That's all I got to say. let me just get that out. All right, let's go on. We got another game going on right now in another great series. Thunder lead this series 3-0. Game 3, Thunder's won 106-85. They are live now. Let's go to this live score. Oh, tied up 25-25. 9 minutes, though, left in the second quarter. Lots of time to go. Now, I did bring the dustpan out on this one, but I didn't quite bring the broom yet because we just didn't know. It looks like, see, Pelicans putting up a fight. Nat, what do you think of this series so far?
So keep in mind that when I called a lot of these matchups great, there were some people that were healthy on the other side.
We're just having fun. I know. We're just having fun.
Some important people, because he's just digging it in there, right? He's just throwing it at me right now. So I thought Zion was going to be good to go in this series, and Jesus Christ, when he went out, I was like, damn. I was like, maybe they get game 1. They should have gotten game 1, and that was just terrible IQ. Everyone was just really slow that day. Throwing up 7 threes after getting a billion offensive rebounds, and you kept throwing up the same damn shot like this was today. You deserve to lose. You know, if Zion was playing, I'm going to continue to say what I said. I think this is a different series. They are missing that big man presence that just takes the pressure off of their wings and their guards, and that big man that can literally go one-on-one, that big man that can offensive rebound, defensive rebound, finish around the basket. You could see with Jonas Valanciunas that he is a good big man, but he's not Zion, and even he creates a lot of matchup issues, you know, when it comes to playing OKC. So it just sucks. 3-0, they're down 3-0. They're not going to win 4 straight. They're probably going to be over tonight. It is what it is, but this series to me would have been different with Zion. But kudos to OKC. They're young. They're getting it done. They're going to win their first series in some years, which is great. And I think this is good for Jalen Williams. This is good for Shea. This is good for Chet. All these young guys. These are kids, man. Like, these are young guys in the league, and they are getting all this experience in how to close out games. You know, how to take on their matchups. You know, under pressure when you don't have a good game, what to do. This is great for OKC. So, you know, kudos to them.
Yeah, and just like in, you know, the reference to football, it's different. Playoff basketball is different than regular season. The speed's different. You know, it all means more. People are diving for that loose ball that maybe they wouldn't on a long road trip. I mean, so all right, yeah. So two great young teams actually going against each other. Jones, what you think?
Yeah, I thought this series was gonna go at least 6 with Zion, maybe 7. The way that you see them playing now, they're pretty much in every game. I think there might have been one game where they got blown out. But with Zion, this would have definitely been a better matchup. But this OKC team is doing what they're supposed to do: is take care of a team that doesn't have their best player and finish this series. They should finish it tonight, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Pelicans got one because they have been playing competitive throughout this series. So that's huge. But like Nat said, this is even bigger for OKC because these young guys are getting that experience. So it's going to help them for the next round. They're going to have some rest for the next round. And I'm very interested to see what the Pelicans are going to start doing going forward because this is their third, fourth trip around with this team, and they haven't really gotten anywhere because of Zion and his injuries. So I'm very interested to see what the front office of the Pelicans are going to do this offseason.
Yeah, interesting indeed. Again, we've talked about it with Brian. Big men in the NBA are notorious for injuries, unfortunately, and Zion is definitely another example of that, sadly. Now, if you do notice tonight, we do have a three-peat, but we don't have our normal three-peat. I got an idea why. Let's go to our next game. The Nuggets lead is 31. Game 4, Lakers.
Good segue.
Game 4, they pulled something out. 119, 108. Okay, let's get back in it. But tonight is Game 5. It's 10 p.m. It could be lights out for the Lakers. I wish Travis was here. I'd love to hear his comments. But Jones, what do you think of this series so far?
Trav, you're supposed to be here to back me up, man. Damn. I'll say this one is the most frustrating series. Not only because I'm not a Laker fan, but I'm a LeBron fan, so I'm rooting for the Lakers. But this is frustrating because this could be the opposite. This could have been a sweep for the Lakers. If we're being really honest, because they've been in every game, they've been up by double digits, and three of them they couldn't close. One they lost by a buzzer beater. Like, this one's very frustrating because you're getting both your stars in LeBron and AD playing out of this world, especially AD. AD's doing what he's supposed to do, and the others are not showing up when they're supposed to. D'Lo had a few good games, but then he also had some games where he hadn't had any points. Austin Reeves, Rui. It's very frustrating seeing this team play the way they're playing. I'm happy that we got the last win, the last game win, but we know it's going to be even tougher to get this win tonight. Now I don't know what the final report is on Murray. I'm hearing that he's got an injury with his calf, and maybe that's why he hasn't been having a good series. And hopefully that continues, so maybe the Lakers can steal at least one more. I'm not going to be the guy that says the Lakers are going to come back. I'm not that confident in that team. But I will say that I do think we could steal maybe one more, maybe tonight. Well, obviously it has to be tonight. And that all depends on Murray. If Murray's not having a good game like he hasn't had all series, and if they leave it up to Joker, then the Lakers might still win if you can get AD and LeBron and at least one other to step up. But other than that, it's been a very frustrating series because the Lakers could easily be up this series.
Nat, do you agree? You think the Lakers could be up this series?
I don't. I'm sick of the Lakers. I just really feel like they waste everyone's time every single year now. This is now becoming very scary at this point, to have Lakers fans think that you're fighting for a play-in spot and somehow you are going to challenge the defending champions or teams that have been consistent all year. It is very strange. It's very weird. They all need to be checked. There's something wrong. It really is. This team has been inconsistent through and through. There's a reason you're battling with New Orleans and Sacramento trying to get a play-in spot. At Golden State, everyone fighting for 7th and 8th. There's a reason for that, and it's because you guys aren't that good. I think that they need to find a way to gently tell everyone, or maybe just say, "Hey, wake the fuck up. We have to blow this up. We can't keep doing this." LeBron is not. If LeBron would have had this team 5 years ago, this would be a different Lakers team. Like LeBron can't do what he used to do, and you guys get so enamored with he's 39 and he can get you 20, 23, 5-5, or 23, 8-8, and then when it matters, you forget. Oh, he's 39, so that can happen, but he can't carry us. You guys can't have it both ways, man. Like, it's like you gotta still slam him because he can't do what he used to do. AD is not a one. He's not a guy you play through. He's a complement to your one, and LeBron can't be your one. So there's your problem right there. You can say Reeves, you can say D'Lo, all this stuff, but the fact is, your 1 and 2 can no longer be your 1 and 2. In the supporting cast, you guys said it got better, and on paper it looks like it did, and then you're still going out in 4 or 5 games. You pushed it to 5. If something is not like working, you got to give it up. You got to go back to the drawing board, start over. You've given away all your talent. BI, is gone. These young guys are gone. Randall gone. Now you got these older guys, and you got to figure it out. I don't know, man. The Lakers, let it go. Stop torturing us so we can get to the next series of 2 teams that actually have been competing since day one, had a consistent team. Can we please get to Minnie versus Denver? Please put us out of our misery.
So I have a fun story. We'll get on to our next series, but I don't know, about 20 years ago. I mean, it was a while back ago. Jamel Hill was on our local radio station, and I called in, had a take on something she had said, and she had told me at the time that I needed an estrogen slap. We had a good laugh about it, but I didn't really know what she meant until right now when Nat just gave Jones one as we spoke just now. That was wow.
Unfortunately, she was wrong, but it's okay.
All right, let's cheer Jones up a little bit. Let's talk about another good series right here, right? Knicks lead the series 3-1, game 4. Knicks 97-92. Game 5 on Tuesday at 7 p.m. I'm going to let Mr. Jones close it. So let's start with you now. What do you think so far of this series?
The 76ers, another team. I'm sick as hell I'm sick of your shit. I'm sick of it. I'm like, you guys need to get off the TV. Every year it's the same shit. You're better and then you're fucking worse. All in the same year. I don't understand it. 76ers, Embiid has a hard time staying healthy, but he's doing what he can. This series, I never really give him a lot of shit for that, but you keep coming back with Tobias Harris. Maxey is great, but then you got Oubre, and it's like a lot of these guys I like, but something just never works in Philly, and you guys can just never put it together. And you guys got to start blowing this shit up too. People have got to go. When it comes to New York, you have nothing to lose really. You're playing hard. You can see the writing on the wall when a man that averages 10 points a game is now averaging 21 points. You're probably going to lose that series. Josh Hart is killing it right now. The reason you are losing this series, 76ers, is not Brunson. All right, it's not Hartenstein. It's not even OG. It's a man by the name of Josh Hart. He has more heart than all of you people put together. So with that being said, I can't wait for Philly to go out and, torture their fans.
Ooh, all right, listen, I see Jones wide open. I'm passing the ball. The floor, my friend, is yours. Go right ahead. What you think of this series?
Now that one, she was right on the money. That one, you was right on the money.
Oh, really?
But no, seriously, Josh Hart is the MVP of this team. I mean, people are seeing. Someone mentioned the other day, but he had 0 points. I said, did you see how many rebounds he had though?
Mm-hmm.
The man is 6'4". Why is he getting 17 rebounds when you got 7-footers on the court? You feel me? So I don't want to hear the point stuff. Like, that's not what he's out there for. That's what Brunson's out there for. But this is it's special to see. Not because we're winning the series, it's how we're winning this series. These are hard fought games. They're going down to the wire, and we're finishing games the way that we need to. So it's special to see. I'm not going to get too hyped because my goal for the Knicks is to get to Boston. We need to go play Boston in the conference final. So until we get there, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I'm very proud of the team. I will give credit where credit is due and saying that I'm okay with not having Randall, but him being there would be a plus because we do need a second scorer that's going to be consistent. We don't really have that now. We have another guy step up, which is great, but it's not on a consistent basis. We're getting, one game from Josh, one game from DiVincenzo, and things like that, which is great. We're still getting the W, but at least we know Randall, we're going to get that consistent 20, 25 at least every night. So I will give credit where credit is due with that. And then what she said about the 76ers, it's time to blow it up. It's time. Y'all been here, done this already. We've seen this story before. It's time to either really put a team around Embiid, get him healthy the way he needs to be so he can actually finish a season and go into the playoffs healthy, because he has not been able to do that yet, or blow the whole goddamn thing up and start all over, because it's annoying. It's annoying to watch. It's annoying to watch because Embiid is one of my favorite players. Not this series, but after, before that, I love watching him. He's one of the big time guys, but you can tell he's injured. He's dealing with some stuff, and he doesn't have, outside of Maxey, he's not getting the help that he needs. So it is what it is. But Knicks Tate, baby, Knicks Tate.
It's the bottom line is but by the way, I like how Jones like, I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, but Eastern Conference Finals, you know what I'm saying? I'm not get too far, you know what I mean? But I
want to talk some shit tonight. I want to go at it.
So he's feeling it, but he didn't want to get feeling it too much. We'll get too excited. Yeah, Knicks are playing great, and you brought up, we keep talking about it, the big man syndrome in the NBA. I mean, it's a lot. That's a lot of miles you tread on your body. I mean, I am a therapist. I'm not Mr. Orthopedic surgeon, but I can just speak on the load that takes on the body. Bottom line is, when you're right, I mean, just think of yourselves. Shin splints. I imagine running an NBA game. 82 games plus playoffs plus offseason, whatever, USA basketball, this, that, and the other thing. I mean, you can imagine what that's doing to your body. And when you're big like that and that center of gravity is constantly pounding, obviously that takes a lot on the joints. So, again, big man syndrome in the NBA. Don't really know, other than maybe some kind of new shoe, how they're going to prevent something like that. But that's just something, unfortunately, that we're going to see. Let's go to a series. It's actually been a series. It's tied 2-2. Game 4, Magic 112-89. Game 5's on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Again, decent series here. Now, what do you think?
This series is an awkward one. It's so lopsided, man. And it's lopsided going back and forth. That's the problem. Cleveland looked like Magic are just too young, and they're taking charge, and then all of a sudden the Magic go home and they said, "No, you're too young, you're not ready." And they took two. I mean, this is the series that I'm just like, this is the one that's a battle. This is the one you want to give us that's actually tied up and we don't know who's coming out of it. Damn. I really like the Magic. I think that they're a great young team, and Paolo, I can't speak, enough about him. I think that he is better than what people give him credit for, but because he's not flashy and getting in your face and talking shit, you're not really going to give him all the airtime, but he's fantastic. He does all the things that you need, for that guy, to be that guy on the team. They got a good, scrappy bunch of guards. They got some scrappy bigs. It makes sense to me why they're fighting so hard, and they've tied it up 2-2. On the Cleveland side, they actually do not make a lot of sense to me. I think that that is why you see that they're struggling the way that they are. And now you don't know who's going to come out of the series. Donovan Mitchell, he should be taking over the series. He should be the MVP clearly through 4 games, and he is not. So I don't know what to take of this team. I also think Mitchell has one foot out the door. I'm one of those people that I'm pretty secure in believing that and think that he wants to play somewhere else. So I don't know if he's throwing this. That's
Throwing this. I'm ready to get out of here. All right, so what do you think, man? I it's funny because Nat's like, this is awkward, but this series is actually fitting her narrative that this is the best NBA playoff series of all, or excuse me, the NBA matchups of all time. This is living up to the hype. What do you think?
Cavs and Matt.
I can't let it go. I can't let it go.
I know you can't. I didn't think KD would be gone, guys. I thought.
Yo, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. No, this series is very interesting because before the series started, I had Orlando in 7, I believe. Yeah. And then those first 2 games happened, and I was like Nat said, oh, Orlando's just too young. They're not ready. And this Cleveland team looks like they're clicking on all cylinders. But even in those first 2 games, I saw something in Orlando that was like, okay, maybe they can get 1 or 2 at home. Because even though they lost those 2 games, the second half of those games, the Cavs didn't look like they did in those first half. Like they were dominating. And Orlando was making pushes. So I'm like, all right, maybe at home they can at least steal 1, maybe 2. And they got both of those damn games. So I'm very impressed with this Orlando team. I'm going to stick with my pick and go with Orlando in 7. And this Cleveland team is just frustrating. They're frustrating because they should have clicked by now. They should be like the the Timberwolves. They've been together for what? This is their third year together. All 3 of them. Yeah. So they should be able to. They should have figured it out. They got their bigs. They got their guards. They got their star player. Donovan Mitchell should be the head of the snake and take over, and everybody else fall in line, and it's just not falling in place like that. So I wouldn't be shocked if Orlando wins this in 7.
Ooh, Orlando in 7. They're very streaky though. Like, we talked about that down the stretch. I mean, they were almost all the way up to the 2nd seed in the East and then fell all the way down. So, again, it's up and down with them. Right now playing well. Let's see, going back to Cleveland now on Tuesday. So let's see how they play. And, again, by the time we revisit this next week, they'll either probably have moved on or not, unfortunately. So let's go to another series that actually fits Nat's narrative of the playoffs.
You know what? This does fit my narrative, people.
This does. You talked about, and I give you credit when you talked about this playoff, in general, this was one of the series you brought up. Series is tied 2-2. Game 4, Clippers won 116-111. Game 5 is Wednesday at 10 p.m. Jones, go to you first. What do you think of the series so far?
So this series right here is my favorite series out of all of them. I had Mavericks in 6, I think. I had Mavericks in 6. It might go 7 because even without Kawhi, James Harden is showing up, PG showing up. But I wanted Mavericks to get that game so bad yesterday. So goddamn bad. I mean, that would have been historic. And there's been so many historic games between these 2 teams. So it's living up to the hype. There's history between these 2 teams, especially in the playoffs. Luka, I love what he said the other day. He's having a good series, but not the best. And Kyrie's just going crazy. Kyrie is showing that he's still one of those guys that finished that layup that he had yesterday was just unbelievable. One of the most iconic finishes in NBA history. And I just love this series. It's going back and forth. I thought without Kawhi that the Clippers would struggle a little bit more, but they're doing pretty good. They're playing better without him because when he was on the court, they did not look the same. Like they don't look like they know what they want to do. Do we pass it to? Do we give it to them, let them get going, or do we play our game? And I think it's best for the Clippers to play their game, let PG do him, because honestly, in my opinion, at this point, PG's their best player. It's not Kawhi anymore. Kawhi has lost all of that. Like he doesn't have. He can still go off here and there, but he's not consistent. And PG has that problem too, but I think he still has the game that still can get them over the hump. And then with James Harden, obviously, when he's playing like James Harden of old, then you get a good Clippers team. But this series is, I love it. I hope it goes 7. I'm going with the Mavs regardless.
Historic comeback for the Mavs. Yeah, great series you mentioned. Well, the floor is yours, Nat. Talk about this great series in this playoff.
Yeah, so I was right when it comes to this great series. I just want to add that I think the best player in this series, I think consistently for me, I'm going to have to give it to James Harden, actually. James Harden, to me, is actually – he's taking some great shots. He's actually very efficient from the field in this series in 4 games. And he has just put the Clippers on his back, to be honest with you, game to game. And then Paul George just rewinds the clock. And all of a sudden, this guy goes off for 33 points and 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, 1 block. He was all over the court.
Shots on his back.
Yeah, he was doing everything. Luka has not played that great. He's been okay. And I think that's the shocker for me. He's just been okay. Some guys have stepped up, for the Clippers as well. Terrence Mann, has stepped up. Plumlee comes in, gives you solid minutes. Zubac, he's solid, what he gives you. Powell, we can't say enough about Powell, and then Russell Westbrook, he gives you some solid minutes as well. It seems like when Kawhi sits, they play some very good basketball because I think they try too hard to get him going and get him back acclimated to be the guy, and that's not what they need right now. The longer he sits out, the better it'll be for them in the next round if they can make it there. And then they will want to make it there because I think that they have a great shot, at getting out of that round as well. So this is great for them. Dallas, Luka's not doing enough. Kyrie, I think, is doing what he needs to do. Gafford is just being played off pretty much 18 minutes the last time they played. PJ Washington is okay. 40 minutes and you got 10 points and 4 rebounds is not going to cut it. Derek Jones Jr., he's doing what he can, 15 and 7. Luka with this triple double, but it means nothing when you're losing the game, and then it just seems like you're just getting stats now, and it's not really equating to really dominating, the game. And then the bench, their bench is not good, at all. Lively's not playing well. Kleber, he should not get minutes in anybody's game. If Kleber is on your team, he needs to be a DNP. Easy. So, I still have the Clippers winning. I believe in what they do collectively as a team. I think they have enough defenders and guys that can win their one-on-one matchups to get out of this series.
Nat said, coach's decision did not play for you, sir. Like that. All right, let's go. We'll finish up with our final series. Pacers lead this series 3-1. Game 4, Pacers 126-113. Game 5, Tuesday at 9:30. Nat, do the Pacers close them out on Tuesday?
Probably not. I think that the Pacers have to go through one more game, and that's the game that they got to play on their home floor. The Pacers have been great. They have nothing to lose. Nothing. All they have to do is just play and play hard. And the thing about Milwaukee has been so up and down this year. I think the writing was on the wall for them as well because I think they traded the wrong people. Defensively, you guys are not good. Chris Middleton, he can rewind the clock sometimes, and then the other times he goes right back. to his age essentially. Brooke Lopez, he's decent, but they just don't have a lot of guys. They just don't. No Giannis, it's hard. Then Dame is injured, and I'll take that into account as well. But even with Dame, they were still losing, and it still looked like an Indiana win. So I think maybe if Giannis plays, this is a different story. I can't discount the fact that even with Giannis in the regular season, the Pacers still were kicking their ass. So I like what the Pacers are doing. I did not have on my bingo card, though, Miles Turner being the best big man in this series. You could not have paid me to say that. But he is literally dominating, and that is weird. So shout out to the Indiana Pacers. They might be moving on to the second round.
N35. Now, there you go. All right, let's go to Jones for this one. You think that the Pacers, it's funny real quick, too. The Pacers were that team kind of like the Magic, and we did a lot of talking about towards the end of the playoffs, like talking about teams that are going to be hot when it matters. Pacers were not one of them, but they're certainly on fire right now. Jones, they got enough to close them out Tuesday.
Yep, it's over tomorrow. They're going to finish them out. Even if Dame comes back or Giannis comes back, I just think they just got their number. The season series was 4-1, so this is how the playoffs is going to end the same way, 4-1. They just weren't healthy and too much inconsistency with that team. Changes with the coaches that didn't make sense. Why, Doc, his history. I mean, it's just a mess over there. It's just a mess, and I'm upset that I jumped on the bandwagon in the beginning of the season because of my guy Dame, but it just went downhill from there. So I'm officially jumping off the bandwagon of the Bucks. It's over. See you next year. Even if I don't even know if Dame will be there next year, but see you next year. I gave it a shot.
I hope I'm not the only person watching the NBA that just feels bad for Damian Lillard. Like, I felt like he, Portland, he was kind of like stuck. Now he goes to this team and, it's all these aspirations of the finals. And you're about to get out round one, due to injuries, unfortunately. So feel bad for Dame. I do hope this team kind of sticks together, kind of like to see what it looked like as a whole unit, hot, or at least playing healthy towards the end of the year. So would like to see what that happens next season. We'll see. All right, guys. Well, we're hitting the end of our program, but you know how we like to close it in the paint. All right, how we close our show, 60 seconds for our people in the paint to talk about whatever they like. Nat, you are up first. Your 60 seconds begins now.
Yeah, my message is just real clear. Lakers, stop wasting our goddamn time. I'm sick of watching you. I am so sick of you. I can't do this anymore. And I think I speak for the majority of America. We're sick of this shit. You're not going to win a championship this year. We know you're not. Stop trying. Don't be tryhards. Just fucking end it. All right. We want to get to the next round. All right. And watch actually two teams that have a shot at a title compete. Stop this shit. And next year, don't do it either. Just blow it up, please. Thank you.
That says, let it go. Let it go. I hear you. I'm with you. Jones, 60 seconds in the paint, sir, begins now.
I agree with the last point. They do need to blow it up next year, but just to piss Nat off, win another goddamn game. Let's piss her off, y'all. Win another goddamn game. But on top of that, Nick Nation, I'm going to be outside with y'all tomorrow. Let's finish this goddamn Philly team off, like Nat said earlier. Like she said about the Lakers, we need to get this team out of there now. So I'm going to be outside, Garden. I'm going to be there. Knicks Day, baby. Let's get it.
That means they're going to lose. They're going to lose tomorrow.
Make sure
Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. Nah.
If anyone's going to the Madison Square Garden tomorrow, make sure you look out for our boy Jones. Be out there doing his thing, rooting them Knicks on to close this thing out. Good luck, my friend. All right, well, that's all for this week. We'll be back next week, so make sure you do us a solid, hit the subscribe, like, all that kind of good stuff. You can also hear us on Spotify as well here soon, waiting for that to go through. But we are on audio as well, so you can check us out somewhere. Just make sure you just Google us, I guess. I don't know what to say. All right. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week. From us to you, we are out.